We do have a few things to go through today. We move me down. Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate's portal cannot sustain the game. Piece here by Mr. Paul Tassi. Logging into Destiny 2 during its second week, players were greeted with nothing. We are now in an era, for the first time in years, where there is not a week-to-week story unfolding in Destiny. In The Edge of Fate, you beat the campaign, and that's it. Instead, you're herded into the main new draw of the entire game, the portal. The portal is a series of 4 ops sets of missions: Solo, Fireteam, Pinnacle, and Crucible. Each have their own dedicated weapons and armor to farm, both now using the new tier system of the game. Common tier 1 drops and exceedingly rare tier 5 drops at the highest difficulty levels of the game. It's only been 2 weeks, but it's clear this is not going to be enough to sustain the game in a meaningful capacity, and it would be shocking if the game's active players did not start dropping left and right as they hit some sort of wall in the activity. Some may last longer than others, and some changes will no doubt be made to fix extremely obvious issues with the system. But the portal is not going away. This is the thing that's meant to keep players engaged now. The launch of this portal in The Edge of Fate is bizarre. There are 0 new activities in any of the ops playlists. I'm not going to classify their string of enemies in a patrol zone new for solo ops. Fireteam ops is years old strikes and forgotten seasonal activities. Pinnacle is the only old exotics quest right now, though supposedly chunks of dungeons will be added later. The way to mix this up to some extent is the new modifier system with different challenges and boons you can pick to earn better rewards. But it's mainly split into lower levels trying to get an A rank, which usually just means locking your loadout and putting on an enemy challenge or 2, or higher levels where you have to slap every negative modifier in the game on in order to get the best loot, and not even the best loot. At the high end is something like a 5% drop in any tier 5, much less a specific weapon or armor piece with perks or distribution you may want. I will say on this front, you actually don't even have to get to A rank. You could do a B+ rank, and as long as you do the optional objective and complete the whatever it is on time, it'll round up to A rank. Because you'll get those bonuses, and so saves you a little bit of stress. But I get what he's saying here. Lower levels are blindingly easy. I'm not sure what's going on there, but some of these difficulties have bosses that cannot possibly have more health than a mini boss at max, but at higher levels, getting more powerful actually hurts you, given that you will keep being forced into higher deltas, plus 30, plus 40, plus 50. Nothing you can do changes that unless you scale things back for inescapably less loot. The split is that lower tier players are going to climb high enough where this just gets exhausting and leave. Higher tier players, all but a few crazies, are going to burn out with this insane difficulty that is also not necessarily difficulty, but endless sponges and the simple inability to ever feel truly strong. There's some pretty obvious portal fixes that should be implemented ASAP. For one, the ability to take a favorite weapon through tiers via a lot of investment rather than being impossible for most players to even see a tier 4 or tier 5. Oof. The ability to take a favorite weapon through tiers. So what he's saying is kind of like what we've had in the past where you can enhance a weapon. So say you've got a tier 2 drop or tier 1 drop with currency investment, you can pick that up to a tier 4, tier 5. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think that defeats the system. I think tier 4s and tier 5s are supposed to be rare. You don't need a tier 5. Those of us that want a tier 5, that are the crazies, that will be grinding, that's fine. But you can get by on a tier 2, man. Or even a tier 3. Cross, you're the problem. I'm the problem. I got a community of bitches right now that don't want to grind, but I'm the fucking problem. You know what? Let's just keep reading this goddamn article. Better drop rates for high tiers at higher levels. At least any kind of chance to get a rare higher tier drop at lower levels rather than making it wholly impossible. Changing these high-end difficulty deltas so every single player isn't going to be terminally underpowered, with that only getting worse as time goes on. Being vastly under-generous with the loot and overly focused on challenge with stupidly punishing tuning is a recipe to turn off players. All this seems to be in place to extend the grind as long as possible, but what it's going to do is cause a lot of rage or exhaustion quits. I'm already seeing it happen. God dog it. It's been 2 weeks, fellas. I'm gonna say, in RuneScape, you know how long it took to get a single 99? Amongst dozens of skills. Oh, fuck off. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. It's been 2 weeks. 2 weeks, and now you're exhausted. Oh my God, it's been 2 weeks. I can't fucking do it anymore. The entire concept of the portal replaying very old content also is just not appealing at baseline. Okay, that's what I can't agree with that. If there's anything I can agree with this, I can agree with the fact that old activities are unappealing. And not just old activities are unappealing. The fun activities that I want to do are just not as rewarding. For instance, Onslaught, which is a heavy time commitment, that just doesn't drop the same amount of rewards, even comparable to what you could pull from solo ops running those missions over and over. I will agree, though, that we need more activities, and not just more activities, but better scaling of activities, right? Like, I feel like you know, activities that require heavy time commitment should give you overwhelming amounts of loot. And until that happens, people are always going to go for the activity that gives you the least resistance. And that right now is currently K1 and Caldera. And it is, in fact, the best way to get your level up right now. And those that do say they like it, I would be curious if even they'll still be around a couple weeks from now. This is just not going to be able to carry Destiny 2 for 6 month gaps between major expansions without severe population crashes. Okay, well, Paul, we do have Ash and Iron, and we do have the Epic Raid. So we do have like these mini content dumps. And I don't know, we have Arms Week coming out today. I hope it's going to be good. He's not wrong. Again, and I'm going to say this as respectfully as possible. All I'm hearing is a community that got so used to doing this every expansion. Hi, I paid my season pass. Where's my loot? Where's my exotics taking up my entire fucking inventory? Where's my fucking red borders? Put it in the hand. I paid, put the loot in the hand. Not no more, man. You gots to grind now. You gots to grind. No. I'm gonna say this. I fucking love the grind. I am in heaven right now. Dude, I love that tier 4s and tier 5s are a bitch. I love that the grind is taking up all my time, man. I go to bed dreaming about the grind. I wake up to the grind. I look at number go up. I get more and more excited. Number go higher. Fucking hell yeah. I love this shit. And it means something. And look, if you're a guy that doesn't want to grind, all right, don't grind. There is going to be some sort of catch-up mechanic bullshit. I don't know what it's going to be. But if I'm working my ass off for this tier 5 loot, if I suddenly turn around and see that you get this shit for free somehow, oh, hell no. You're going to have to work for this shit too. And keep in mind, keep in mind, what are you really mad about? You're mad because you want tier 5 loot, but you can't get it. Listen, some players are going to be tier 2 players. You might be a tier 3 guy. That's all right. There's nothing, I'm not going to hate on you. Tier 2, tier 3, that's more your level, that's more your speed, that's fine. You don't need tier 5s. You don't have to have it. You can get gear right now. You can get weapons right now, even at your current level. It just won't be the best of the best, but that's okay. You don't have to have the best of the best. I know some of you right now have kids and life and other things, and you know, you don't have the time to grind. I get it, man. I wish there was a trading system. Nothing would make me happier than me grinding a tier 5 and trading it to you for X amount of glimmer. And not just glimmer, like we would have to raise the cap of the glimmer, uncap it completely, and actually have places we can use glimmer for. This is where Bungie should introduce the ability to buy a house, a clan hall, and it take millions and millions of glimmer to get the best of the best, right? Nothing would please me more than me giving you a tier 5 for all the glimmer you have, taking that glimmer, putting it into the penthouse on top of the Destiny 1 tower, to then take other tier 5 weapons and armor and hang it on my walls. You're happy with your one weapon that you get to run around with at tier 5? I'm happy. Hold on. We have more to talk about on this front. Glad weighs in right now. Honest take on Destiny 2's armor power grind from a huge grinder. I love the idea of the portal system. I think a well-organized portal will simplify where to go, but also offer a lot of comparable choices to grind. I'm also fine with a gear grind. I still think the only thing that truly revitalizes this game is a fresh restart. It appears grinding armor 3.0 is the closest thing we are going to get, at least for now. Yeah. That's a very fair statement. With that being said, I don't think either of the things mentioned above are executed properly. There's some marks that hit green, but way too many marks that hit red. I just got back from a 4 to 5 day vacation. I'm just now starting to see more folks hit Power 400, and they've been grinding since day 1 DLC launched. Normally I'd be like, hell yeah, the grind is back, but I feel quite the opposite. Every stream I turn into, they're running the same 2 missions on repeat. It feels like 90% of the portal isn't even being considered, and some of the cooler missions and well-rewarded ones are locked to a one-time playthrough. There's just seems to be one thing that's better than everything else. I want to grind, feel rewarded, play things that I love, and feel incentivized, not grind the same activity for 300 hours. So originally when we started doing our own power grinding, I was loving the system of doing my daily challenges, taking the bonus drops, loading up into different missions, fire team, loading up into Crucible, getting those bonus drops. But what became very clear is that that system didn't work as well as just loading into the same mission over and over. I will agree that if you look at anyone that power grinded, it was either doing solo op missions over and over again or doing encore over and over again. People found those 2 missions or those handful of missions, and that's what they stuck to. And yes, it is better. I wish there was because it almost seemed like there was like a mini game within the portal system of stacking those bonus drops together, which I really, really liked, but it's just not as optimal. It's just hitting that same mission over and over. One simple idea is to add more activities to the portal, then rotate a huge bonus loot reward, like 5 extra big power drops between 2 and 3 random activities that rotates after every mission efficient RAM. As a result, you have players choosing these options more and thus switching up the variety more and then getting more than 1 to 2 measly drops for an activity that takes some time. Keep in mind, the Pinnacle grind before, the idea of it was to put you into a variety of different activities. That's why you could only run them once per character. You do it, you get your drop, and then you bounce to Gambit or to Strikes or to Crucible. I actually like the portal system and the fact that if I do want to just mindlessly grind the same activity over and over, I can. With that being said, though, I think variety is still really good because there are times where I get bored. At Crucible, I like to mix Crucible into what I do. I like PvP, even when I bitch about it. Another idea. Why do I see no raids or dungeons being grinded? These are true Pinnacle activities, no? I understand they introduced a raid feat system with a new raid. Good. Keep something unique like that associated with the current new raid and make sure it's worth the time to grind it. But all the other raids and dungeons, come on, man. That's free content. I think all or most raids and dungeons should be a priority source of higher tier loot. I also think that daily rotating raid or dungeon is an idea with incentivize higher tier loot. Low tier loot dropping from raids just feels terrible. I'm gonna say this right now. It's very obvious with the feat system. Bungie is not going to hand out tier 4s or tier 5s of raid loot at all. You have to adhere to the feat system. And until the feat system is going to be added to other raids, they are not handing that. Bungie, I hope you guys are seeing the correlation here and the compare, like across the board. Tier 5s especially are fucking like straight up gate kept across the board. And so until a feat system, it could probably be there for leveling, but until feat systems are added to other raids, I just don't see them being brought in. Now, Bungie did say they're doing dungeons. When are they doing dungeons? Is that going to be in Ash and Iron? September. All right, so they're doing dungeons. But I'm going to say this, guys. The dungeons are going to be adding in September. It's not going to be, hey, here's your dungeon. Like in the old days, run it as many times as you want, and you're going to get tier 5. I guarantee those dungeons are going to be hard as shit. There's going to be a feat system associated with it. And if you don't crack out, you're not going to get tier 5 loot. You're just not going to get it. Tier 5 loot is not going to be handed to you, fellas. It ain't going to be handed to you now. It's not going to be handed to you in September or even December at the end of this expansion. Outside of the associated quests that you can get there on Kepler, it just ain't going to happen. You're going to have to crack out and work for that shit, or you're just not going to get it. And keep in mind, it still doesn't mean that like tier 3 or tier 2s aren't good, but I paid for it. See, that mentality right there is how Destiny really ended up into this shithole. You see where I'm coming from? The idea of I paid for it. And I saw it. Some people are going to say it happened a few years ago. I would say it happened as early as Forsaken. You see, in Forsaken, we got the Black Armory updates. Pretty good update. Many of you remember it. Had some great weapons. Kindle Orchid, ringing down. You remember when Forges came out day 1? I loved how challenging Forges were. Forges were pretty wild day 1. However, everyone in the community said that Forges was too difficult. And what did Bungie do within 24 hours? They went across the board and they nerfed Forges. The comments and tweets that were being put out were, I paid for this and I can't even play the activity because it's too hard. That was the beginning right there. He's so far up his own ass. Ah, man, I tell you what, dude. I know you guys, y'all fucking hate this shit. Some of you absolutely hate this shit. I know it because you left comments on the YouTube video of our completion of contest mode raid, which is, god damn it, he fucking did it. This motherfucker did it. Now I gotta listen to another year of Cross's bullshit. That's right, man. You gotta fucking another year of this bullshit. And guess what? I'm gonna gatekeep the shit out of this gear. You hear me? You think I'm gonna make life easy on you? No. I'm gonna gatekeep the fuck out of this. Tier 5s are gonna be so goddamn hard forever and ever. As it currently stands, I honestly feel like I feel little desire to grind this new system. The idea of replacing all of my old gear with this crispy tier 5 loot and stat spikes sound amazing, but the current process of doing it just makes me want to play other games. I want to grind, but I don't want to hate myself while doing it. I want a seamless transition from activity to activity with variety, choices, and massive loot rewards that make my time feel valued. I want to create my own fun path. Maybe I'll dabble here and there, but if I'm real with myself, I might just wait it out. I only expect the system to be approved upon, so maybe I'll wait until then. Take care, Glad. Glad is anything but a casual gamer. He's an absolute grinder. I think there are definitely ways to improve the system. More variety would be good. Different activities that are huge time investments should be weighted accordingly. Dungeons are coming in September, but hear me now. Tier 5 loot is never going to be something Bungie hands out. I could be wrong. There could be some fucking Lootapalooza bullshit. But the point of tier 5 is for it to be an absolute bitch to get. I'm happy with tier 4. Look, man. And look, that's the thing, dude. It's like tier 4, just like Paul's article, like tier 2, tier 3, I think is completely fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think getting a god roll tier 3, I think is fantastic. I mean, tier 4, you get some barrel perks and mag perks that are enhanced. Okay. Tier 5 is the big one because you get the origin trait. I will admit tier 5, that's the big jump because of the enhanced origin traits. Is Bungie signing your check to Sony? Sony about to own that ass. Side life. Here's the thing. We have been working with a boring version of Destiny now for years. And season to season, I've gone on, I've played my content, I've gotten my drops, and then that was it. I was bored. I was fucking bored, man. Destiny has been so boring to me for the past, especially the past year. It's been so fucking boring to me. Now it's not. The grind is on. And listen, if you don't like it, there's tier 2 gear and tier 3 gear for you. It's not like you're not getting something out of this. You're getting something out of it. And look, if you look at your friend who has a full tier 5 set, it doesn't mean he's better than you. Objectively, he may be, but it doesn't mean spiritually or personally, right? In the game, clearly he is better than you. Like in every facet and every slot, he is truly objectively better than you. But there's so many other things outside of that. You don't have to have tier 5, guys. You don't have to have it. And I think that's the problem right now. It's like people want the tier 5, but they see the mountain that you have to climb to get there. It just means he's a degen. As gamers, this is all we have. Look, since the beginning of time, since the old days of RuneScape, we admired the degens out there, okay? When I would see someone sitting there fucking just going and grinding and grinding, I mean, brother, I respect it. I'd be like, damn, brother, this guy just got an endless tank. F the mountain for tier 5. I'll walk up the hill for tier 3. That's fine too, guys. That's fine. Again, it's not like you guys aren't getting stuff. You're getting loot. You just won't get the best. And it seems like the best stuff in the game is going to be kind of gatekept. And there's going to be some comments on that. They're going to be like, oh, wow. Now you're going to have players that are really good, get better loot. That's going to be able to kill us even faster in things like PvP or outslay us inside of PvE. I mean, perhaps, you know what I mean? Perhaps. Grind doesn't equal skill. Albeit, whether Benny has a tier 1 hand cannon or a tier 5, he will still shit on you. It doesn't fucking matter. But I will respect him with the tier 1 or the tier 5. But the tier 5 is obviously shows a level of time commitment, which we can all respect. And look, it's just a respect thing. And you go, hold on. Or not even respect thing. I respect the people that grind. That's why people are like pulling up the Fizzle stream and shit like that. The man's 450. I think he hit 450. That's super impressive. Cross, they literally made this system for people to stream their game longer and get more exposure. That's it. All right. Let's just say that the game was completely made for streamers. So be it. At the end of the day, I wanted loot to mean something. Bungie wanted loot to mean something. And God forbid that it takes time to get the best loot in the game. Hear me out. And this is, I don't understand how I am losing you guys on this. You can still get a very good tier 2 drop and be done. How many times do I got to keep saying the same thing over and over? You don't have to have tier 5s. You don't have to. You want to, motherfuckers. You want the tier 5s. That's the problem here. You want it. And that tells me the system is working. This is good. Yes, this is good. Oh, yes. I'm going to be honest, chat. I didn't know how the system was going to play out when we were first shown it. But it's working better than I ever thought it would. This is good. I want the game made for me. I hope you like it. But I want the game made for what I want. Go. And I'm going to just say this. If I ever have any other say, I want you all to know what my goal is. I want to put RuneScape in Destiny. If I can accomplish this, this will be perfect. This is exactly what I want. Everything I do, I will die trying. I will die fucking trying. I want RuneScape, but in Destiny. Oh yeah, get some 99 capes and shit. Damn right. That should be hot. Look, man, all I've heard this expansion is how everything is just too hard. Now I will say this, in that same vein, Myth the Kepler is pretty fucking, it's pretty crazy. I can get, hold on. Contest mode, defeat system, you know what I'm saying? Even like like Grandmaster and Ultimate and stuff like that. All right, that Myth the Kepler don't f around. Now listen, I want you to know something, guys. All this tier 5 talk, keep in mind what we're saying. You don't have to have it. If you're looking at your tier 2 armor set or your tier 3 armor set, that's completely fine. You don't have to have. That is fucking hot. You hear me? Huh? You need it. You want it. Now that you've seen it, you fucking need it now. You can't tell me that this isn't hot. You cannot look upon this and be like, God, dog it, man. Oh, whose balls do I have to fondle to get this shit? That's sexy though, man. That's sexy. This is why we're grinding our asses off, guys. What I'm trying to say is though, this should not be an easy thing. You should not be able to just wake up and get tier 5 pieces of gear and weapons and with minimum investments. You've had that. We've had that for the past couple years, and I hated it. And the whole upgrading your gear to tier 5, I don't think that should be a thing either. It's easy. It's just boring as fuck to do the same thing over and over or again and again. Look, I don't know. More variety would be nice. Weighting the activities accordingly would be nice. Me, when I have to play the game I paid for, crying emoji. Oh my God. I know, man. Isn't it shocking? God, dog, I paid for this shit. Now I gotta play it. What the Again, new activities added to the portal would be nice. I completely agree with that. Have a streak system where you do a variety of activities would be nice. But I'm sorry, guys. I know this is not what you want to hear. I'm liking the grind, though. I'm enjoying it. I'm eating it up. I like it hard. Slap that like button like your mama told you right.